Well, good morning. I say that because it is, hey Kiwi, it is 6:28 my time here, 6:25 my time. And what happened was, I was a little bit under the weather over the weekend, and I fell asleep about 9 o'clock tonight. And then at 5 this morning, the air raid sirens went off. And so I was up at 5. And not only that, I was ravenous. And when I decided I couldn't go back to sleep, I decided to cook. And, sometimes when I cook, we do these cooking from Kyiv episodes. And so I thought that I would show you what I'm doing at this ridiculous hour of the morning. Thank you, Russia. Ugh. So people are coming in. A few people are coming in. It's a very unusual time. It's far too early for my European friends to be here. And it's too late for my American friends. So Australia and New Zealand, I'm counting on you. So guys, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take, yeehaw. I'm okay, Walters. I got woken up at 5 a.m. by an air raid siren. And so I decided, I didn't decide. I couldn't go back to sleep, is what it was. I could not get myself back to sleep. So I thought, I'm hungry. I'm going to make some food. And then I got in a mood. And so I prepared some things here. And I thought, I'll just hop online and I'll share with everybody what I'm doing with these leftovers. Oh, you're not crazy, Renvox. I'm crazy. It's 6:26 in the morning, and wait till you see what I'm about to do. Oh, Dave, I'm sorry to hear it. I hope you're feeling better. Hey, Ted Greenow. So, guys, if you're just joining us, here's what happened. I fell asleep about 9 o'clock. 5 a.m., the air raid siren sounds. That's 8 hours of sleep. So I couldn't go back to sleep. And I thought, I'm hungry. I'm really hungry. And, sometimes I do these cooking from Kyiv episodes. And so that's what this is. And I'll show you what we're going to start with here. So if you take a look, this is my roasting pan from dinner last night. I made mushroom stuffed chicken breasts, right? And I'm just going to take this breast out of the pan here and kind of shake those juices off. I want all that. And then I have some chicken stock. This is really just a chicken bouillon cube and some boiling water. And I'll just deglaze this pan with that. If that's even technically deglazing, because I'm not overheat. But that water was boiling just a minute ago, so I think that ought to do the job. Courtney, I hope I do make you hungry. Renvox, if it's 5:30, where are you that it's 5:30 p.m.? That doesn't quite make sense to me. Because LA is 10 hours, and you're 11 hours. So I don't know where that would be, unless it's going the other direction. All right, and then we'll get a heat under that. Whoops. I'm going to leave that heat high. I want it to come to a full boil. 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So, Courtney, I can tell you're East Coast. You're on the East Coast someplace. Okay, so while that stock and drippings from the chicken starts to cook, let me show you what I got here. This is my thickening agent, right? It's just, normally it would be butter and flour, right? What the French call a beurre manie, very common in French cooking to thicken soups and sauces. But I'm not a big fan of wheat flour, so I'm trying it this time. I've never done this before. I'm trying it with cornstarch. And normally with a beurre manie, you do 50-50. But I did more like 2-to-1, 2 butter to 1 cornstarch. And so we'll see if that... Now, on top of that, not only am I doing that for the first time, and I've never done anything like that before, I also blended 2 cloves of garlic into there because there's garlic in the mushroom stuffing, and I want to mirror the flavors of the mushroom stuffing in the gravy. And so this beurre manie is a garlic beurre manie. And we're going to have to cook that down for a little while to make sure all that cornstarch gets incorporated. But I think I've got enough in there, along with some potato starch I'm going to add, that I can add some water and we'll still end up with a thick gravy. Hey, Trav. What are you doing up, brother? One of the things that's really different about living in Kyiv is you cannot drink the tap water. Do not come here and start drinking the tap water, kids. No está bien. All right. So I can see that that's thickening up already. Now to help it along, I made a potatoes parmentier earlier this week. So I have all these potato skins left over. I'm going to throw that potato in there, and that potato starch should help to thicken it up. And when it's done, I have some nice potato skins all covered in gravy, ready to go. Because I use that chicken bouillon cube, I'm not going to put any salt in this, but we will add some pepper. You popping off, brother? Nice. Now, the mushroom stuffing in the chicken is mushrooms, carrots, and shallots, so I'm going to put all that in the gravy as well. Just put some carrots in here. Now, let me put this down for a second. Okay, now we're going to have to let this, what I want this to do is I want it to come to a boil, and then I'll reduce the heat and simmer it. But to make sure that all that cornstarch is really incorporated, give the vegetables time to cook and the sauce to reduce, we'll probably have to cook this for about 15 minutes. There we go. All right, so we just want that to come to a boil, and then I'll put it on a simmer. Kira ora, Scotty. Left coast. I'm as safe as anybody in this country. I have power. I have water. Life is good. I have gas. Life is good. We can cook. So I took some leftovers. I had baked this chicken last night for dinner. And this is just a stuffed chicken breast stuffed with a mushroom filling, and then wrapped in prosciutto. And so I took the drippings from that pan, and we're making a gravy here, a mushroom gravy. And that looks like it's boiling. So I'm going to turn that down to a simmer. And then we still have some fresh herbs to put in there, and then I'll garnish it with that scallion. And let me set an alarm for 15 minutes. And then that should be good to go. And that's me doing leftovers at 6:30 a.m. because I'm awake after an air raid alert. Hey, Aces High. I'm making a gravy for this leftover chicken. I made some chicken last night for dinner, and so I just made up a gravy for it. And I just want that gravy to simmer for about 15 minutes. Cook those vegetables down a little bit that I added to it. Thicken up a little bit. Make sure all the cornstarch I used as a thickening agent is cooked into the gravy. Prsciutto. I'm in Kyiv, Ukraine. Hey, June. How you doing, buddy? So the subject here generally is Ukraine and only Ukraine. But tonight, we're doing a little cooking from Kyiv. Sometimes when things are like this, and I'm just killing time, sometimes we do some cooking. So I'll tell you, Renvox, the person who had the most impact on me in the kitchen was a guy named Mario Prada. Mario was the head chef at, hey Weibo, Mario was the head chef at Frico Bar. Now Frico Bar is named for a regional Italian dish, the Frico, which is like a fried cheese and potato dish. Very tasty, very crispy, crunchy, nice side, right? And the place was owned by the Bastianiches, the Bastianiches of Lydia Bastianich and Joe Bastianich fame, who had a cooking show on PBS in the United States, had several really well-known and respected restaurants around Manhattan, including Babbo, Felidia, Frico Bar, and some others. The place on 46th, I can't think of the name of it, and I had my wedding reception there. I was working for Joe and Lydia when I got married. And so we had our wedding reception there, and I cannot think of the name of that place for the life. I never worked there. I worked at the other places. Because, you know, when you're living in Manhattan and trying to be an actor, like that's what you do. You wait tables so that you're free during the day for auditions, and then you can switch your schedule around if you get a gig. Or you can just quit, right? Well, thanks, Renvox. I don't know. We'll see, man. I never messed around with cornstarch in a beurre manie before, or with seasoning it. So we'll see how that works out. But I think that garlic is so well crushed, right? It's roasted garlic, and then it's been blended well with the cornstarch and the butter. I think it's pretty much going to just dissolve into a flavor in the sauce. Hacky Sack Trav says, I make great food. He can attest. Geez, dude. All I can think about is that time that we stole that venison out of that dude's freezer. And he was not happy. Russell, right? Wasn't his name Russell? These are definitely not the usual 2-minute noodles. Now remember, guys, all that this is leftovers, right? Leftovers from dinner. A chicken breast that I stuffed with mushrooms. And then the fat, the drippings from that sitting in the roasting pan. And I thought to myself, why would I let that go to waste? Why would I let that go to waste? That could be something good. And I think it's going to be. I think you'll see it here very shortly. Because really, there's nothing left to do to that sauce, right? It's got to do is simmer. And what did it cost? Hey, Maddie. Hey, Maddie. How you doing? Nice to see you. We're doing a little cooking, Mads. I'm heating up some leftovers here. Because it's 6:30 in the morning and the air raid siren woke me up at 5 and I haven't been able to go back to sleep. Can't do it. Stewed tomato stuff that one time. Wow, that must have been good if you remember that. I don't even remember that. I think more about all the times Trav and I, we used to go to these 3-day music festivals around Pennsylvania. And I was pretty well known, I think, among a certain crowd for always having good food. Oh, that's why. Travis is making reference to the fact that I used to have a garden, right? I used to grow a lot of our own food, which is a great thing to do if you can do it. If you are in a position. Now, a lot of you know Nightshade, right? Nightshade's on here all the time. Nightshade has the Tblsp group on the Book of Faces, which I appreciate. And he does great daily updates on Ukraine. He's got a flat in a city, but you should see his fire escape. It's covered in pepper pots and herbs and all kinds of wonderful things. So even though he's in the city, he's growing vegetables for himself. And that gets a lot of respect from me. I think it's a great idea if you can do it. If you can do it. Not everybody can. I tried growing peppers here on my balcony, but I just do not get enough sunlight. I can only grow shade plants like lettuces. I agree, Travis. Every roof should be a garden. Now, I mean, not to turn immediately American political, but it is worth pointing out, right, that Michelle Obama put a garden on the roof of the White House, and the food went to the kitchen or it went to local food banks. The first thing Trump did in his first term was tear that garden out. Now that to me says everything you need to know about Donald Trump. Anybody who tears out a garden is insanity. So Renvox, it's funny you asked the question about tomatoes in Ukraine. Because the Ukrainians, I mean, look, the Ukrainians, as far as I can tell, they do not use a lot of tomatoes in their cooking, right? If you look at Ukrainian recipes, not a lot of tomatoes, and impossible, next to impossible, to find a decent red sauce in this town. I have resorted to making my own. That's what you have to do. And yet, there is a decent variety of tomatoes in the store, and they tend to be good, right? And Element makes the point that tomatoes are Western. Fine. The tomatoes generally available in the store are just fine. You'll find a variety of colors, a variety of varieties, and you can do what you need to do, right? However, I was just in Bulgaria to the point of tomatoes are Western. Holy shit, do the Bulgarians grow tomatoes and use them in their cooking. I had dishes in Bulgaria, the likes of which I have never seen in my life. Tomatoes, these gorgeous, I don't know what the variety was, but gorgeous, meaty, barely any seeds. Tomatoes stuffed with an eggplant stuffing and garnished with a kind of feta cheese that was remarkable, absolutely remarkable. So when it comes to tomatoes, I don't disagree. You're right. Tomatoes are Western. I don't think you see a lot of good red sauces in Eastern Europe. Certainly you don't in Ukraine. But holy cow, the Bulgarians are on top of that shit. A lot, Travis. A lot of raw, fresh veg here. My diet here has become, I mean, I won't say vegetarian, but the amount of vegetables in my diet here has gone right up. They're cheap. They're excellent. I don't know what else to say. Jerry, everybody ought to grow tomatoes. I mean, they're so easy to grow. And you can do so much with them. I don't know why everybody doesn't grow tomatoes. Even just on a pot on the balcony. Here you can see, hold on. Can you see? Right, this is just simmering along. It's pretty thin still. But I think another few minutes, that'll thicken up pretty nice. And if it doesn't, well, then we'll just have to add a little more cornstarch to it. I wonder how it tastes. Let's give it a taste, shall we? Yeah, I did not expect to be eating at this hour, I'll tell you right now. Oh, that's nice. That's even before the herbs go in. That's got nice flavor. I do want to put a little pepper in there. So we'll go ahead and add a little pepper now. And give that another 5 minutes or so. Oh yeah, that's good. That's going to be delicious. Belt bat, I'm too old for the restaurant business. I was in that business for many years, and I can't do 16-hour days on my feet anymore. No way. I do like a beefsteak, Jerry. You're right about that. Leave the funny cigarettes alone. Why don't you fuck off? How about that? Why don't you fuck off? You're not wrong, Trav, right? Like, I would love to consult with some Ukrainians that wanted to open a genuine American restaurant, right? I would love to consult with them, be the food tester, whatever. But as far as me going into that business, there's no fucking way. I couldn't do it. There's no world anymore where I could do that. Dude, they love burgers here, and it is so hard to find a good burger. I mean, the burgers First of all, there's 60% pork in most places. So right off the bat, you're not getting something that any American would call a burger. So, hey, Maria Holm. I got rocked out of bed at 4 a.m. or at 5 a.m. by a air raid, and I couldn't go back to sleep, so I started cooking. And then, sometimes I like to share what I'm cooking. So I'm just reheating some leftovers from dinner last night, and I made a little gravy to go on them. And we kind of walked through the making of the gravy. And now we're just chatting while that gravy is reducing. The Russians are pissed off about the tomahawks, boy. But I wouldn't count on them coming through. Trump is not reliable. And let's remember, he's saying all these pro-Ukrainian things when he has the government shut down. He's talking all this pro-Ukrainian stuff all of a sudden, while the government is shut down, which means that the promises we've made to Ukraine are not being delivered because the government is shut down. So out of his mouth, he's praising Ukraine and saying things in favor of Ukraine. But behind their back, he's stabbing them in the back. The administration isn't worthless. The administration is our enemy. Make no mistake. The United States federal system of government has been subverted by a malign foreign agent in the person of Donald Trump. It's his job to shut down the United States government, the way that he has neutered us and our power on the world stage. No, I don't trust him one bit. And nobody should. And I guess after Larry Ellison buys TikTok, I won't be able to say these things anymore. Right? They are going to shut us all down, I guess. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Whatever. But in the meantime, that was my timer. So this has been simmering now for 15 minutes, and it's not quite as thick as I'd like it to be. So what I might do is I might just drop the leftover chicken breast here. Flip this around. So I might just take my leftover chicken breast from last night, and I might just drop it in that gravy to heat up and give that gravy a few more minutes to thicken while we chat. So I'll set a timer here and we'll let that go. You can see the sun is coming up behind me. The sky is lightening there. It is amazing, boy. In July, it gets dark at 10 o'clock at night here. Now, 3 months later, it's dark at 7. It's really, even though the weather is very much like Pennsylvania, the daylight hours are different. Twisted Sister is getting rain in Arizona. Well, that's something. Renvox, I don't know. I don't know what, I haven't seen any damage assessments yet. I didn't really hear anything. The air alarm sounded about 5 a.m. It woke me up. Because I had fallen asleep at 9, right? That's 8 hours of sleep. I guess I was up. And I haven't heard any anti-aircraft fire. I haven't heard any drones. I haven't heard anything. Hey, Jasmine, how you doing? You're up late. I don't know what that means. Called in sick last night. Paul, I don't ever do a live on Saturday and Sunday night. The regular live is only Monday through Friday. They are, well, Gray, it's hard to say. Like, they're just, the first hits on Ukrainian energy infrastructure came 3 years ago, October 10th, 2022. The winter strike campaign began, and it was Russia's goal to knock out all the power, heating, lighting, water, gas to major metropolitan cities in Ukraine. That was the winter strike campaign 2022. Then we saw it again in 2023. Then we saw it again in 2024. Then we saw it again now starting 3 years to the day, October 10th. He is pissed about the tomahawks, Maria. That is clear. Yeah, ace is high. This has been going on since the beginning. No doubt it. Now, Paul, you're a big, like you follow the channel. You are a Patreon member, right? A paying Patreon member. And on every single video, I put live at 5, Monday through Friday. And you don't know that. That worries me. Not about you, but about how I get the message out, because you're a guy who pays attention. Altered Carbon, are you on the Patreon? I mean, not everybody uses the same name in both places, so I don't always know. But if you're not on the Patreon, I've started doing a series on Mondays of videos I can't show on TikTok. And there's a lot of good videos that I cannot show on TikTok. Now, it's nothing gory. I'm not showing, none of that. But they're good videos, and they give good insight into, RDG. You're RDG. Perfect. So you might have seen the one I did last Monday. I've got one lined up to do today. I might get to that right after I eat. We'll see here. Why do we telegraph tomahawks? That's a great question, Gray. I don't know that I have the answer to that question. It seems that the Trump administration is trying to wrestle Putin to the negotiating table. And Putin won't budge from his maximalist positions. Now, there's another thing going on that Geo Husar is framing as Trump not just wanting to get rid of Maduro in Venezuela, but he wants to take Venezuela away from the Russians. We've already seen the Russians lose Azerbaijan and Armenia. We've already seen them lose Syria and Ukraine. Next, to lose Venezuela, the power base from which Russia projects power into Central and South America, that would be devastating to them. And these moves against Venezuela do seem to be an effort to push out the pro-Russian Maduro in favor of a non-pro-Russian American-friendly candidate. There is a lot of talk now that this woman that won the Nobel Peace Prize, this Venezuelan woman whose name escapes me right now, I apologize, but she dedicated her prize to Trump. That might be enough that should there be a change of government, we might see her ushered in as the new prime minister or president of Venezuela. That would probably be a good move, but we'll see. Machida. Thanks, Ragnar. Maria Machida. Thanks, Maddie. That's it. But she's Latin, so she's got a middle name she uses too that I can't remember. Calajeros? So anyway, it doesn't matter. Hey, Bobby, you're up late, buddy. Actually, not so late for you. Not so late for you. How you doing, pal? Oh, the China situation. I mean, I can't help but think that the China situation, is just another scam. I mean, the market plunged like 4.9% on Friday. The NASDAQ, or maybe that was the NASDAQ number. The market might have been down 900 points. Yeah, I think the market was down 900 points. I think the NASDAQ was down by almost 4%. And so to me, it looks like another scam where he's trying to scare the markets so his billionaire friends can buy up assets at pennies on the dollar, and then he won't ever put the tariff in place. I think is very, very likely. China wouldn't take Trump's call. Well, good for them. Good for them. All right, let's see here. I think this should be just about done. So let's see if we can get it out and onto the plate. Hang on. All right, so there's the plate, right? First thing we'll do is we'll take that chicken out. And I hope that prosciutto didn't lose too much of its crispness in that sauce. That was the one risk of reheating it in there. But this should probably be pretty hot inside. It's kind of fallen apart on me. Not how I would have liked it to look, but the flavor will be unaffected. And now we'll just take this sauce, right? And we'll put a little of that gravy over there and some of these mushrooms. And then there should also be in here some potato skins. Get those out. I could definitely have thickened that up a little bit. If I wasn't on the phone with you guys, I would have. But that's okay. That's not going to be bad. Nothing about that is going to be bad. And I'm just going to garnish that with a little of that. And there you have it. My leftovers from supper have become my breakfast. And I am going to eat. It ought to be okay. It ought to be pretty good. Okay. Final questions, comments. Because I'm going to call it alive. Thanks, Trav. Dude, I really got to get back to the United States in 2026. I got some things to take care of, and I really got to get back in 2026. So we should make plans to barbecue or something. All right, kids, make it a great day. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks, Dave. Take it easy.